Hey guys, how's it going? Somebody tell me how your week has been. I don't know about y'all, but I have been super duper busy. So a lot of y'all are in the Flourish group, the Facebook group, and we're having hey Cynthia, great. We are having our conference this weekend, starting on, we travel Thursday, and then it goes through Sunday. And so all of my normal business stuff that I would do over that time, I've been doing now. So as y'all can imagine, I was like literally, I was designing something up till like 8:59. So we got a decent number of people. So I'm going to go ahead and start. First thing I want to do real quick is I want to, if everybody didn't do your exercise, I will read you the questions. But if you want to see them and you're on a desktop, if you go to lulamaydesign.com/blog, then you can see the questions that I'm going to be talking about. I sent that out in an email earlier today. So, week one. If anybody missed week one workshop, what did we talk about? We talked about finding your abundance, okay? So, abundance defined as having more than enough so that you're overflowing and need to give some away, which is where we all want to be. We all want to be where we have so much money or assets or friends or time or happiness that we want to share that with other people. Also, we talked about the fact that not all good things are your good things, right? You don't need to be envious of other people having wonderful things because their wonderful things don't keep you from having a piece of the pie, right? It's an infinite pie. There's infinite happiness if we'll just choose to be happy. And also, because they may have something that you don't even particularly want, but you just want something, and so you feel a sense of envy. Like they may have, they may have a speaking part on a TV show, right? And you think, oh man, if I could just have a speaking part on a TV show, how cool would that be? But then if you think about it for 2 seconds, you're like, actually, that would be terrible. So don't be jealous of other people simply because they have something, right? Because you'll have your something too. The other super, 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 super important thing that we learned in week one was that a sense of abundance, a sense of having enough, a sense that it's fine, it's great even, I'm doing wonderfully, it'll even get better. That sense will pull us back from the ledge of fight or flight. And fight or flight is not our friend. Fight or flight is where we enter survival mode versus thrival mode, right? When you're in survival mode, you are just thinking about staying alive, and fear helps you with that. But when you're wanting to thrive, fear is getting in your way of making decisions and of taking on challenges, okay? Okay, week two, quick recap. Week two, we learned how to make a plan, and by that I don't mean a hard and fast plan. I don't mean you're going to know everything that you're going to do to get to where you want to go every single day for the rest of your life. I don't mean detail in terms of your footsteps to get there. What I mean by a detailed plan is a detailed portrait of your future abundance. So a detailed idea of what does my day look like? What is the day that I want to have every day, right? For me, I get up, I read a book, I drink some coffee, I use my essential oils, I have some quiet time before I get into the hustle and bustle of life. At the end of the evening, I have a little wind down time. I read some more of that same mystery novel, right, before I go to bed. Those things about abundance, I actually already have in my present abundance, but there are so many more things that I can have. There's, there's the little tea shop that's underneath the Brooklyn corner brownstone that I'm going to have that will be a space for creatives to come together and talk and do what like we're doing, except for in the same space, where I can teach the community about wellness. Well, we'll have a garden where people can breathe some clean air, right? All of these things are what I want my life to look like, and then I'll be figuring out how to get there, right? But there's no reason for me to think just because what I have right now is not a tea shop that I'll never have one. Does that make sense? Of course I can, but I need to be sure that's what I want, because when I get there, I don't want to be regretting it. So that's why you want to put in all those details. I don't want to travel all the time. I want to have a home base. You need to figure that out. So that's what we did on week two. And then we talked about visualizing, even drawing pictures, writing that list of what you want it to look like, all of ways to engage your right brain And we talked about the fact that visualization is not a crazy thing that only baseball players do, right? It is basically you are setting inside your brain all the thoughts of what that's like. And the stronger those thoughts are in your brain, the more likely you are to see unique solutions to problems, to see opportunities and seize those opportunities. You're basically prepared for when your opportunity comes, right? And it's also basically helping your brain have a happy place to live that is, again, keeping you away from fight or flight. It's keeping you away from dread, fear that you'll lose everything or fear that you'll never get what you want, keeping you away from that envy we just talked about, and keeping you away from confusion, which is my big thing of saying, I have a bad tendency to be impatient, right? I know I'll be abundant, but I want it now. And that's not the way that it works, and the journey often is just as fun as getting to the end. And so I don't need to spend any time thinking, okay, is this the perfect thing to do? Or is this other thing the perfect thing to do? Just head in that direction. Week 3. Okay, so what have I been promising you guys that we would learn? Week 3, it is time to put our plan into action. We know where we want to go. Now it's time to start moving forward and getting there, right? We're grounded in abundance. We know the end game. Now we just need to start taking those steps forward. And what I am not promising you is that it's going to be easy. I'm not promising you that it's going to be, just skipping down the yellow brick road even. It's going to be maybe even like, an epic Lord of the Rings journey. But what I am going to help you do is figure out how to stay motivated no matter how steep the climb is, no matter how rough the terrain is. What is it that's going to keep you motivated? Hey, Donna. How's it going? Thank you for joining us. So, first I want to read a quote that I shared into the Creativity Club this morning, okay? So I'm going to read it. Anybody who has ever struggled to plant his feet on the floor in the morning knows that life can be hard. It can be stressful. It can be overwhelming. But each of those negative, less than optimal feelings immediately takes a back seat to the inspirational power of hope. Okay, so there are mornings when you do not want to get up. There are mornings when, I'm thinking, okay, every single day I'm getting a new jewelry order, and this is like the one week that I feel like I should be prepping for conference, but I'm having more sales than I've had for the rest of the month, and I just got to stay motivated, I just got to stay focused, and I just got to get it done. And all of that is wonderful. That's the abundance that I asked for, but it could be very easy for me to be like, oh my goodness, why now? Why me? Why is this happening? Or I could just say, you know what? I know where I want to get to, and I know that if I just stay focused and don't spend time worrying, then that's going to be the best way to get this done quickly, right? I'm working on a coupon to take with me to the conference for the swag bags, and I have Laura DeGrossa has been helping me do some VA work, and so I had her creating this little coupon, and of course now we're like trying to get it printed, and now it's not working in the printer thing, and it would be very easy to get frustrated. But one thing that I know that I have learned is that frustration is not my friend, that deep breaths and just knowing, okay, I know where I want to get to, I know what I want this to look like, and we're going to figure it out. Doing that opens up my right brain to be able to come up with creative solutions much, much, much better than just clenching my fists and just getting frustrated. So give me a thumbs up if that makes sense. If the thing about this is that we're making choices, we can't control our circumstances, but we can control the way that we react to them, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, okay? So, almost every time that you take a step forward in your business, in your life, in your health, in becoming the person that you want to be, almost every time you take that step forward, it is by climbing over something, going around something, jumping across something. Sometimes it may even be that pulling back the slingshot, painfully pulling until finally it gets released and you're catapulted into that next level of life, right? It is very, very often a difficult thing to get to the next step. So every time I'm talking to someone and they're like, oh, you know, I want to redo my website and it's just frustrating and I can't decide what am I going to do. I have too many orders and so I'm like, but my website's not designed right. Or even like, oh, I'm having this, you know, this illness and I'm having to stay home and I really want to be working. The immediate thing that I think and I say to them is, this struggle means that there's something on the other side of that that's going to be great. And that is the mindset you need to get into, right? The fact that you have too many orders for your website is fantastic. That means once you fix the website, all of a sudden you'll probably even get more, right? If you're having to stay home sick, maybe there's something that you can be doing that you wouldn't have been doing otherwise. Either catching up on rest or reading a book that would be for your business or calling friends on the phone that you haven't talked to in forever, that all of a sudden you've remade a connection that's going to help you down the line. Seeing those obstacles as, well, I can't see what's on the other side, but boy, is it going to be great. That is the mindset that we need to get into, because you have a choice. You either think it's going to be great or you think it's going to be terrible, and the way that you handle the situation is going to be based upon that, right? We're never thinking it's going to be neutral. I really don't think that we're thinking I'm going to get to the other side of this and I'm going to go back to normal. I think that when we're in pain, this is actually, this is a scientific thing. When you're in pain, your brain thinks that you're going to be in pain forever, right? So when you're in a struggle, your brain tends to think you'll be in a struggle forever, and it hates that. But what we know is that that's not true. You really will be. It will change, right? You will get back into something that's either the same, worse, or better. It will not stay the same. So, I don't know if some of y'all know this, but I hosted a Game of Thrones watching party for this beginning of this season, right? I do not like Game of Thrones. True story. I watched a couple of them. It seems very boring to me, but also very violent. And I just don't like it. Hey, Misty. Thanks for joining us. Hey. But my boyfriend is a huge Game of Thrones fan, as are many of our friends. So they all came over. We had a Game of Thrones themed food fest, and we watched the TV show. And I was like, I'm not going to watch it, blah, blah, blah. But of course I did. I sat down and watched it. And I got a great takeaway. And here's my takeaway. There was a part, I'm not giving anything away if you love Game of Thrones. There's a part where a keeper of the books, I think they're like a religious order, he's talking to one of the characters and he says, the reason we're here is to be the memory of the people. We have access to all of these books dating back thousands and thousands of years, and we know that when winter comes, men will, he didn't say freak out, but they'll freak out and they will think that the end is definitely here. It's going to end. It's the end of the world. And they start fighting each other and terrible things happen. And then winter passes and then they're still alive. And then another winter comes and they think it's all going to end. And then winter passes and they're still alive. He says this happens over and over and over again, but they never learn because they don't remember the lessons of the past. And that's what we're here for, to hold the books that show us that life will continue on. And I just thought, what a great, like, I don't know, what a great sort of magical way of describing the thing that we should be able to do in our own brains, of realizing when you get past an obstacle, not only just being glad it's over, but taking the time to set that in your brain and say, that wasn't nearly so terrible, and look what I got out of it. So that the next time you see an obstacle, you begin to tell yourself, remember all of these times that it was okay. Remember all of these times that I actually got to the other side and it was even better than I thought, right? We are our own keeper of memories, and we need to keep the memories that are helpful to us and release the memories that are not, and we have control over that if we take control over it. I hope that that is helpful. I also hope that if you haven't watched Game of Thrones, that's not super important. I don't think it is. So, besides just telling ourselves not to give up, besides just saying don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, which as a mantra is great, but doesn't go that deep, what is the reason that we should not give up? What is the reason that we're going to make it to the other side, that we know that we will? And that is because our why is bigger than the obstacle, okay? Your why, your reason that this is a non-negotiable, your reason that you have to carry on must be bigger than any obstacle. It must be bigger than whatever you're going to feel is a life or death scenario. And if it is not, then you've got the wrong why, or you just haven't really grabbed hold of it yet, okay? Your why needs to be the ladder that you lean up against the obstacle, climb to the top of the ladder, look over, and you can see the abundance on the other side, right? It needs to be taller than that obstacle. And so that is what we're going to figure out. What is a why that's not just I make jewelry because I like it. I make jewelry because I want to feel creatively fulfilled. If it's vague, like creatively fulfilled, or if it's small, like I just want to give, something and have people like it. If it's based on you being a small person in the world, that's not a big enough why. That will not hold up to obstacles. It will not hold up to money trouble, to time trouble, to career changes, to rebranding issues, to sickness, right? It's got to be a big why. So, do you have a why? Are you feeling panicked right now because you feel like your why is not good enough? Do you have a why? The answer is yes, you do. Even if you have not thought about this for a second, you have a why, because that is what gets you up out of bed every morning, okay? Even just the fact that there's a pot of coffee is a why. It's not a good why, but it's a why. And so you have one, you just haven't stopped to really, really think about it. And that is what we're going to take a moment tonight to do. So if you have a why, I'm telling you you do. And if you have a big one, I'm telling you that you do. Why don't you already know it? You don't already know it because it is stuck in your right brain, okay? Your right brain, as we have talked about, is the one that takes all of the information in the world and compiles it all together. It's your creative brain. It's the one that doesn't use words but uses images. It's also what we often call our gut feeling or our heart, okay? That's where your why is. And y'all give me some thumbs up if you feel like, I feel really strongly about this. I feel like this is what I'm supposed to do. I feel it, but you don't know how to put words to it. I bet that is someone, because that was me until I took an entire month to figure it out. But I bet that you have been there, and if you have, never fear. You have the why already. It is just stuck in your right brain, okay? And we just need to get it to where we can look at it and translate it into the verbal language of the left brain so that we can understand it. Once we can do that, then you're good to go, because as we talked about, your left brain is not the boss of you, but it is very, very often the loudest voice, right? It yells the loudest, and it makes a lot of sense, and so you listen to it. So we need to get that why into the voice of the left brain. Okay, so we're about to do the exercise together. So if you want to look at the questions, lulamaydesign.com/blog. It's the first blog. It's okay, I'm going to read them out if you haven't done it yet. Okay, we're going to do the exercise, but first, I have a point that I want to drive home, okay? I get the sense that some of you guys who tune in regularly feel like what I'm telling you or what you're getting from this is that you could be better. I'm saying you could be better, but you need to change first. That you're not the person that you want to be, and so you need to make yourself into a new person. I feel like some of you think that I'm saying that, and that is not at all what I'm saying. I'm 0% saying that. What I am saying is that you need to realize that you are already that person, okay? You need to identify with that part of you that is the part of you that you want to be. It is already there. It is in your right side of your brain. It is in your heart. It is wherever you want to call it. It is in your best moments, the person that you are and the person that you're striving to be. It is already there, okay? And you just need to embrace it and live in that space rather than living in a fearful space. Are y'all with me? I am not saying you need to go find a new identity. I am not saying that you need to make changes that will change your DNA or psychology. I am saying that you need to find the best version of you, and you need to embrace that, okay? So, your worst moments are also going to stay there. There is a best you and there is a worst you. There is a me that is speaking right now, and that I am trying to do the best that I can to communicate. And there is also a me that has not eaten in 7 hours and gets home and there's nothing in the refrigerator and opens the refrigerator and is like, why is there no food in this house? What am I going to do? I'm just hangry, right? That's me too. But I don't want to live in that space. I want to do whatever I can to deep breathe through those situations. So the choice that you have to make is which is your mansion and which is your vacation home that you live all of the time, and which is the place that you just visit occasionally, right? That, the lower part of yourself, the part that freaks out, we're going to make that where that's the vacation home, okay? So now for the exercise. There are just 4 questions, so everybody get a pen and a sheet of paper, and I'm going to make y'all talk to me now. I'm going to make you interact, so get ready to type, okay? So the first question is, drum roll please, what would I do if I never made any money from it? What are a few things, it doesn't even have to just be one, that I would do if I had 0 money as a result? Okay? So I want y'all to take a second and think about it, or copy paste or write in what your answers were. And this is not just about your business. This is also about anything that you're passionate about. So for an example, let me think. Yeah, so for me, it would be getting outdoors, right? I don't think that I'm ever going to make any money off of going camping, but that keeps me sane. So that is something I will continue to do and spend money on, even though nobody's going to give me any payment for it. So it can be something like that too. That's how we get to the unique part of your why, by not just relying on it being about your business, because you'll hem yourself in. Okay? So who has one for me? So Cynthia, create, craft, upcycle, taking pictures, going to the beach. So Cynthia, it's obvious, and this is a good thing for you guys to think about. It's obvious from Cynthia's Facebook page that she loves to take photographs, right? It is clear that she's going to go to the zoo, and she's going to take photos of the animals, and she's going to take botanicals, and she's going to love every second of that. And whether or not anyone pays her money, she is going to have a great time. Same thing for me with camping, right? If you look at my Facebook, then you're going to see a lot of pictures of me outside, and I don't think that anyone's paying me for that, or is going to pay me to be like a tour guide. Okay, so I would design handmade items, organize spaces and places. Okay, interested that you're not saying necessarily crochet, and that's a thing that you want to think a little bit about. Why? Are there other things that you're interested in doing as well? Is crocheting where your passion is? Because I like making jewelry, but one thing that I wrote down was that I just want to create. And it's not necessarily that I have to make jewelry for the rest of my life, right? I love doing it. I think I make beautiful jewelry. I love crystals. But that opened up, when I realized that, it opened up my idea of my why, and that it could encompass other things like wellness, which I'm passionate about. And that gave me a bigger idea, creating more of a lifestyle brand versus just a jewelry brand, which would have made me feel a little bit claustrophobic in the long run. So, you know, design, right? Just thinking in a right brain term right now, it could end up that you became an expert in how to design studios for artists like me who have no clue how to be organized, and have a beautiful space at the same time. That could be a thing that you end up doing while also having your shop, right? So believing in yourself that you are more than just a one-trick pony, believing in yourself that if you find your why, you will make it happen in real life. That's what we need to do. You need to be open to whatever the why is. If the why really was that I wanted to be a park ranger, then I would drop what I was doing and I would go be a park ranger, because that's what I'm going to get fulfillment out in life ultimately, and it's about me being fulfilled, not whatever jewelry customers I have, right? If I discovered that I hated that, I would need to move on. If you discover that the thing that you're doing right now in life, that your business, that the career that you're in right now is not the career you should be in, let me tell you that was hard for me. When I had to stop being a manager at Trader Joe's, I literally cried as I was telling them this because I felt so bad. My poor regional managers having to sit across from me while I like try not to weep about like how sorry I am, but this is just like making me sick and I can't do it anymore and I have to choose something else, because a giant part of my personality, of my psychology, of my spirituality is doing the best that I can and helping people and being loyal. And I had to say I can't do this anymore, and that was really hard, but it was because I understood that that was not what was making me happy and fulfilled, and I had to make a change, right? Okay, so Carrie, creative projects, plan, map out new ideas, read, research new ideas, play with animals. I love that. So we've also talked about giving back, and there are some people who actually, like, I'm going to forget her name, but one of the flourishers who's a painter, right? She ended up painting mostly animals, and she's doing a mural in an animal shelter because she loves animals, and she's found a way for her giving back to be this other piece of her, you know. So just like loving animals or loving the outdoors can be something that shows up in how you give back. It doesn't have to be that's what I do for a living. Also, the girl who does, what's her name? The makeup. Darn. Because beauty is more than skin deep, right? She's another flourisher. She gives back some money to help traffic children, to help save them, and then I think to help like give them a place to live, right? That has nothing to do with makeup, really. I mean, but that's her why. She is extremely passionate about makeup, and she's extremely passionate about this project. And so what she does is she gives a piece back to that. So she is now an incredibly unique makeup designer because nobody else is doing that, right? And she makes gorgeous makeup, but if she didn't have this other thing, she would just make gorgeous makeup. And so you don't need to be afraid that your why is too weird, right? My why is that I had, a big part of it is that I had hypothyroidism, and it basically made me feel like a shell of a human. I couldn't do anything. I started my business because I was so exhausted I couldn't work my real job, and I had to take a step back, but I still had to be able to make money. And at the same time, I wanted a chance to be creatively fulfilled. So through finding the essential oils that have helped me not to have to take that thyroid medicine anymore and have given me so much more energy, I was like, I don't care that this has nothing to do with my jewelry business. I'm going to make this work because I am so passionate about that. And that led me into the new coaching thing that I'm doing, wellness coaching, right? Because I just said, I found my why, now I'm going to make it happen. You got to find the why first. You can't try and squeeze your why into the box that you have created for your business. Okay, so let go of that, shake it off. Everyone take some deep breaths. We are not taking your business and trying to shove a why into it. We are trying to find your why and expand your business to fill the why, okay? Carrie, mapping out, planning new ideas, researching new ideas. You and I are both very, very similar. We have the equal left brain, right brain thing. We have lots of ideas and need help from other people to execute them. So part of your why, I know, is to be able to make enough from your business that you can come up with all of these ideas and have somebody else who executes it, who you can hire, right? So you're giving somebody else a good job, and they're also getting to do a thing that they enjoy, but you're not having to create every blog post, and you're not having to create every email. So part of your why is that you love this one thing, and you make your business work to support that thing that you love. You know, spend time researching and making the best beauty products possible, and you make enough money to hire somebody else, and that's part of even giving back, right? So you didn't just say, well, I don't have time to do anything new because I have to do beauty products. What you got to do is make your business feel that way. Okay. Sorry, that was a long time about question 1. These are just all so ripe for harvest. Okay, question number 2. What 3 problems facing the world today do I feel passionate about particularly? What 3 problems facing the world today do I feel particularly passionate about, right? There are things that you think you should feel passionate about, political, religious, economic, health, wellness. that I'm sure that you feel a little bit attached to, but like, I mean, somebody else is out there to do that and you just appreciate those people. What are the things that you really, 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 really feel like you're not happy unless you're helping? Sharon, leaving your 9-to-5 corporate job to do my card business full-time led me to helping others with their handmade businesses, and now I consult. Exactly. So what you did was follow your why, right? And you ended up in the place you were supposed to be. Animal testing, animal safety, empowering young women. Sharon, that's super interesting. So your things are animal testing and animal safety? Fascinating. You need to do some writing for those people then, right? I mean, you have this fantastic skill of the word, and so you can use that for anything. You know, obviously you've been using it for Disney, which you're passionate about, and the magic that creates for young children, and a positive things for them to hold on to as they're growing up. But there are all of these other things out there in the world that you haven't even given back to yet in a way that you want to. That your potential is limitless when you embrace the why. You just, if you think small, you'll never find it. But if you don't think small, you will find it, okay? Carrie, violence, abuse against children and animals, cancer affecting moms, anything that tears families apart. Ida, body image, embracing creativity, disease awareness, and assistance. So see all of these things, guys, that have nothing to do with what you sit and do for most of the day, but are really the things that probably tug at your heartstrings. They're the things that when you tell me, make me just, it's so wonderful to hear that there are other people that feel as passionately about these things as I do, right? For me, the things that I wrote down were low self-esteem, medical crisis in first world countries, the fact that we're the first world countries and we have some of the worst health in the world, and helping others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. And that's actually my affirmation for this month. But body image, Ida, absolutely. Things that tear families apart, any sort of cruelty, any sort of people not respecting each other. You know, I mean, those things exist in the world, and the fact that they exist in the world is just, if you really stop for a moment and think, it's just awful. Like, if the people who have the soul that want to help took the time to help and figured out a way to find their power behind helping, we could be in such a better position. But because we are nice people, I think that we tend to be polite and give everybody else their space and not take up too much space ourselves. And we do not, we don't expand to fill the amount of position at the world that some of the negative people do. Let me know if y'all think that's crazy, but I don't think so. Carrie, I have tied products, boxes to organizations for women before when Etsy was thriving, but then traffic fell. Would love to do that again. That's fantastic. So the question is for you, what was it about Etsy that was driving that traffic? What was it about? Was it just like falling off a log, or were there things that they were doing that you could also do on your own site, or through, you know, doing live videos, right, is a thing that I thought, I looked at people who did them, and they're a painter, and they're doing a live video about painting. And I thought, well, I wish I could do that, but like making jewelry is a little bit boring, and it's kind of, you know, close to the, you know, and I thought, man, I wish I could use live videos. And it wasn't until I embraced my why and I just had to talk about this wellness stuff that I started doing live videos. But that's the thing, is that more people are buying jewelry from me now that I do live videos than when I was just thinking about it as a jewelry business, right? Like I'm not just getting people signing up to do coaching with me from this. People are interested in my business because they see me talking about things I'm passionate about and that they agree with and are also passionate about. And I'm helping people, and that's also helping my business. So it doesn't have to be you get totally nothing out of it. No, you'll get abundance out of it. But if you feel strongly about any of these things, then you guys can get out there and do videos about these things. You can do videos about cruelty to animals. You can do videos, Ida, you can do videos about self-esteem, right? You can do videos about about families, about how, tips for keeping your family bond, whatever it is, that there are going to be people who think that that's crazy, people who think that that's not appropriate for a business to be having these opinions. But that's the point of small businesses, that you can have a niche that is you and exactly you, and you need to make some people annoyed at you because they disagree in order to get people who really love you. That is the whole point here, right? Okay. So the third question, what do I wish I had known earlier in my life? What do I wish had been shared with me? Okay. What did you just figure out that you thought, boy, if somebody had told me that sooner, I would have saved a lot of heartache, right? So what are some of those things? For me, a big one, big one that I've figured out in the last few years is that perfection is not the goal here. Perfection is not the goal, because perfection puts you out of the reach of all other people. Nobody is perfect. And so if you are trying to be perfect or portray perfection, then you are basically putting yourself up on a pedestal, and nobody feels like they can reach you, and they interact with you as if you're up on a pedestal. But growing up the way that I grew up, reaching for perfection was really a thing. I don't know if they meant to do that, but it was a thing that I definitely learned was important from a religious standpoint, that we should strive to be perfect. And so I've told y'all this before, but I really thought that what you were supposed to do was be as perfect as possible and then fill up the gap by faking it, right? Like, if I can't be perfect, I'm just going to fake it till I make it for the rest of it. And that did not help me in life at all, with relationships, with business, with meeting new people, anything. So that's something that I wish that I had been told earlier. I had to learn it the hard way, but I guess, now I've embraced that. So that is the thing that I talk about with you guys a lot, that perfection is not the goal. I'm not saying you need to change and be a different person. I'm saying you need to embrace the person that you are, right? And that if you love on the negative sides of yourself and say, it's okay, that's just part of me, and if you aspire to spend more time in the best parts of yourself, that is the goal, okay? So y'all chime in if you have anything for that, but I'm going to move on to question 4. What do I want to teach my children? What legacy do I want to leave behind me? Okay? You're going to leave a legacy, whether you want to or not. People are going to say things about you when you're gone, and what they say is within your control, but a lot of people don't think about it until the very end. So your business is your legacy, your life is your legacy, your children are your legacy, your relationships are your legacy. What is the most important thing to you when you think about what people are going to say about you when you die, right? That is a very deep part of your why. When you think about the funeral ceremony and what are people saying about you, you want them to be saying the things about you that are the you that you knew, and the you that you felt was the best side of you, not just the part that you showed to people, and not allowing yourself to be in the negative part of you most of the time. So for me, that you should treat everyone with love and respect. That is what I would want to teach my children. That not all good things are your good things, so envy is pointless. That fear is not your boss, and that you will mess up and it will be okay. That if you stand still until you're sure you're not going to mess up, you will be standing still forever, right? Because there's no way to know 100% sure that you're not going to screw it up. So y'all let me know, do you feel, does this open up any things that you hadn't thought of before? Or are we still all just thinking, well, I already knew all of that? What do y'all think? Any inklings of things that you may not have considered before as part of your why? Okay, I want people to say she never gave up on her dreams and she shared her abundance, motivation, and patience along the way. Okay, so what are ways that you are doing that, and what are ways that opportunities that you're missing out on? Right? What are ways that you are doing that because that is the best part of yourself, and what are ways where you're allowing fear to keep you from doing that? Because if that's what you want people to say about you after you're gone, then you need to tell the fear around those things to shut up, because it is not as important as your legacy, right? And you need to go get that, and that needs to be more important than anything else. If you want people to be motivated and you want people to be patient, what are some things that are holding you back from being that way? And if you are that way, what are some ways you can share that with other people? Carrie, my why is the same. I just need a few reminders. So sometimes this is hard because we know our why and we know that it's important, but we don't know what to do in the situation, right? This is prep work. What to do when we're faced with those situations is why I use essential oils, is why I use the crystals, is why I do my gratitude journal every day. It's why I have my affirmations on my wall. You know, it's why you would bring affirmations with you. It's because what you're doing is giving yourself tools to remind yourself of the thing that you already know, to remind yourself that I choose to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. I choose to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment. I manifest helping others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment, right? I tell myself that every morning, every afternoon, and every night. And how much more likely do you think that makes me to help others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment than if I didn't say that morning, afternoon, and night, right? So, like I said before, you can know in your right brain what your why is, but getting it into your left brain, using as many words as possible, as detailed as possible, but also in sentences that are repeatable, is going to help you carry that with you throughout your day and keep your brain in that space. So, like for Ida saying, I am motivated, I am patient, and I share my abundance. I am motivated, I am patient, and I share my abundance. If you say that throughout your entire day, you will think of ways to share that with people, right? Carrie, if whatever your why is, whatever that sentence is, if you say that over and over and over again, you will see things pop up throughout your life where, you know, you wouldn't have noticed it before, but now you are. I hear people talk about their wellness, or I see people frustrated with something, and I zoom in, right? I'm there. Y'all know me. If y'all message with me, you got a problem, I'm going to try and fix it, right? We're going to figure it out together. Why do I not hesitate to do that? Because I have told myself, I release the trapped emotion of hesitation, which no longer serves me in a positive and productive manner. I have given up my ability to be shy, right? I have said being shy and making sure I don't step on toes is less important than my why. I don't like stepping on toes. I'm polite. I'm a Southerner, right? But my why is more important than that. And I may say something and you may wish I hadn't offered help or whatever, but I'm going to offer help because that's my why. So that's what I'm saying. You may know, but we got to get this into language that can gird you for your day, right? Okay. So basically, we're trying to get you aware of a thing about you that already exists that is a higher self. And another thing that I would like to say is that this is a higher self than you thought possible at the beginning of this month, right? You should have more confidence in yourself and your ability at the end of this month than you did at the beginning. But I feel 100% certain that there is an even higher self that you are not aware of yet. That once we get to this level, there's a level above that, and a level above that, and a level above that. All you need to worry about is getting here. But once I know wellness, purpose, and fulfillment is what I want to do, there may be a more specific why than that. There may be a why that has a wider audience. There may be a why that is more impactful. But I have to embrace the why that I can conceive of, I can understand, right? And then once I'm there and I have filled out into that position, then I can take up even more space in the next position. I can get higher as I go on and on and on, but you gotta get solid ground at each time, okay? So what I'm going to encourage you guys to do is live inside of this why, whatever it is that you got out of this tonight. Live inside of this why for the next 7 days. Then when we come back for the releasing ceremony, I want you to know for sure if that feels good. Does that feel good on, right? Make a sentence. Say that to yourself every day. That's your why. helping others find wellness, purpose, and fulfillment, or whatever yours is. And then I want you to tell me at the end of 7 days, does that feel like your why, or does it feel like you're still missing it? Because if you feel like you're still missing it, we're going to have to chat again, because next month, we're going to spend the entire month embracing this higher self that we have decided we can be, embracing that, living inside of it, deepening our connection to this self, right? An entire month on that, so that we can stabilize at this level before we move up to the next one, okay? So that's going to be called Embracing the Greatness Within. Embracing the Greatness Within. And I will give you more details on that as we get closer, a lot more details next week. But I just want you to be excited. We are going to have 3 new oils that we're going to use: Envision, Believe, and Magnify Your Purpose. So we're going to get to know this self, this higher self. We're going to gain a fierce belief in ourselves and in our abilities. And we're going to build bigger and have larger dreams, okay? And by the end of next month, you're going to realize that your future abundance that you've set up this month is nothing compared to your new dreams. So we're just opening it up. You get past fear, and you learn to let go of more and more fear, more and more resistance, and you're going to take up more space in the world, and you're going to get farther. Is everybody with me on that? Does that seem plausible? Does it sound like I'm talking crazy talk? Are you with me? What do you think? And also, I guess one of my takeaways is, if you have an idea and you think, I can't do that right now, write it down. If you have an idea and you think somebody else could do that better, write it down. If you have an idea and you say, I don't have time for that, write it down. If you have an idea and you think, but I'm not good enough, write it down. Because next month, or the month after, or the month after, you will have time, you will have the ability, you will be good enough, you will be strong enough, and then you're going to be really annoyed that you don't remember that idea that you had, right? So I write all of the amazing ideas. I am an idea haver. I write them all down because I don't have time for all of them. There are many, too many ideas every day. And some of them I don't even know how to do. I didn't know how to do live videos 6 months ago, right? But write them down. Do not lose the ability to do them later. Does anybody have questions? We went through all the material. I hope that you believe me that there is a why and that you know it. You just need to get it into your left brain. And if it takes you all week of answering these questions over and over and over again, that's fine. As long as by the end, by 7 days from now, you can tell me, yes, I feel good about my why. That is what we're going for, so that we can head into next month in a good direction. Okay, guys, so y'all let me know if and when you have any questions. Private message me if there's something you thought of that you don't want to share with the room. But thank you so much for joining me. 3 weeks in, guys. I feel amazing. I hope that you guys are seeing a difference in your daily life and that this is encouraging to you. I'm going to come back next week, hopefully even more excited. There's lots of information from the conference to share with you guys, lots of inspiration, tips, and tricks. And that is it. Until then, I am setting up a whole bunch of things to post into the Creativity Club, so you'll still be getting your inspiration, even though I will be taking a break because I'll be at the conference. But I still want to get that out to you, and I'm going to look at it myself every morning, right, when I wake up. But that is it. Thank you guys so much. You're all wonderful. You're all amazing, and we're all going to be even more amazing next month and the month after and the month after. So thank you for joining me, guys. Love you, and we will do this next time.